Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to be learning about animated GIFs. So now that we know more about frame by frame animation, we are going to make our own animated GIF, but we're actually going to be doing it in Photoshop. So open up Photoshop to begin with, and once you get in there you want to go to File, Open. You're going to go to the Student Drive, Right, Outbox, Publishing and Graphics. You're going to go to Flash. I can't seem to get this folder name changed. And then we're going to open up two images here, a cat image, hold Control, and open up this funny pumpkin face image. And go ahead and open them both. Both of these are Creative Commons images that we are going to be using to create our animated GIF. So the first thing we have to do is we have to set it up with our layers. So I'm going to begin by getting rid of these eyes because I'm going to put the eyes on its own layer. So I'm going to use the rectangular selection tool. I'm going to make a rectangle around the pumpkin. I'm going to go to Edit, Fill. I'm going to fill it with the Content Awareness tool so that it just kind of gets rid of it with the surrounding material. And it should magically work. There we go. And those eyeballs are gone. Next, I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this layer Outer Left Eye or Out Left Eye. I'm going to grab my oval tool or my elliptical selection tool. I'm going to hold Shift to make a perfect circle, and I'm going to draw the size that I want my outer eye to be. I'm going to use the paint bucket in black to fill it. Because it's on its own layer, I should be able to deselect it and move it with the Move tool. I'm going to hold Control and Alt to drag over and make a copy. And I will rename that Outer Right Eye. Next, I'm going to make the inner eye. So I'm going to use the oval tool again on a new layer. Inner or in left eye. Again, hold Shift. I'm going to make a little bit of a smaller circle. Flip those colors so that it's white. Fill it with the white. Again, I can deselect. Oh, and I accidentally already made a copy. I was holding Control and Alt there. So remember, Control and Alt while using the Move tool will allow you to make an additional copy. And I'll put those in place. Next, I'm going to make another new layer. I'm going to call this the mouth layer. I'm going to grab the polygon lasso, which is our second lasso under our lasso tool. And remember that this makes straight lines. So I'm going to click and I'm just going to make some straight lines to create the mouth of the pumpkin. And if you start off and it doesn't go that well, you can try it again. Mine didn't go too great, but for time's sake, I'm going to keep moving. I'll use black and I'll fill that. All right, next I want to make a mouth that opens. Now, we haven't done this part before, so what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and duplicate that mouth layer. So right-click, duplicate layer, call it Open Mouth. And we're going to go to the Edit menu and the Puppet Warp, which we haven't used before. The Puppet Warp, you can see, kind of puts this pattern all throughout the mouth. And what it's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to click at each point and kind of drop like a little pinpoint. Now, sometimes I've had to click twice to get these to go in. Looks like it's going a little bit better this time. Up there we go. You've got to hit it in the exact right place to get it to actually stop. And I'm literally just clicking at every point of the mouth. And you can see there I had to click a couple of times to get it to set. You've got to hit it exactly right. And there we go. Now what I can do is with those set, I can actually pull on this and manipulate it and change the way that it looks. So I'm just kind of pulling these up, kind of pulling these over. I'm just trying to kind of do something funky with the mouth here. And I'm just trying to do something quick. I know this isn't the best example. And then I'll click the check mark up at the top on the options toolbar. And so now I can see the mouth and the open mouth, and I can turn that layer off and on. Now turn that layer off for now, the open mouth. Next, on the background layer, I'm going to use that same poly tool, and I'm going to cut out, I do not like that. I'm going to cut out the top of the pumpkin as if we were carving it. Now remember, you can just kind of do this one randomly, just make sure you get all of it in there. There we go. I'm going to do an edit cut. I'm going to add a new layer, put that on top, edit, paste special, paste in place. There we go. You can use the move tool to kind of move it back down. So this is top of pumpkin. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another new layer at the very bottom of my layers palette. I may have to unlock my background. There we go. I'm going to rename this cat. And that cat image that we open, I'm going to move it over, and it's actually behind the pumpkin, so it's kind of hard to see. So you might want to turn everything off, or you could probably leave it at the top or on top and then move it underneath, kind of up to you how you want to do it. There we go. It's well behind the pumpkin. And so the only things we should have turned off are the cat and the open mouth. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to begin the animation. So what we want to do is we want to go to the window menu, and we want to come down to timeline. And that sets up a timeline down here on the bottom. Now, what you want to do from there is in the middle here, yours probably says create video timeline. But if you click on this drop-down arrow, you can select create frame animation. So we're creating a frame by frame animation. You're going to click that button so that it activates, and you can see our first frame is our pumpkin here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create new frames, changing the way that it looks. So to begin with, at the bottom here, you have the new layer icon, or here it's actually duplicate selected frame. I'm going to click on that. What that's going to do is it's going to duplicate that frame, and now I can move something. So I'm going to click on the inner left eye, and then I'm just going to move this. I'm going to move it a little bit up the eye. I can use my arrows to get it set exactly right. I'm going to do the same thing for my right eye here. And so now I've got a change of the eyes beginning to move. I'm going to click that icon again, the duplicate frame icon, and I'm going to move the eyes again. So I'll move that eye up. Again, I can use my arrows to make sure it's not popping out. Oops, edit undo. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the left eye, moving it up a bit. And again, you should be able to see the change. It looks like I didn't actually move the right eye. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to do one more, duplicate frame. This time the eyes are going to be at the top. There we go. And now I want the top to begin to come off. So I'm going to click on that duplicate button again. And I'm going to start to move the top of the pumpkin up a little bit. I can use my arrows just to move it up. So again, clicking back and forth will show me the movement. I'm going to do it again, moving it up a little bit more. Click it again, moving up a little bit more. Remember, frame by frame, we don't want to make it too drastic because we want it to seem fluid and realistic. So we don't want to move it too much. Next, what I want is the cat to come out. So I could play this just to kind of see what it looks like. All right, and so from here, I want to duplicate that layer. I want to turn the cat on now that I'm going to be using the cat. Click on the cat layer, and again, just move him up a little bit. And he's not coming out. Oh no, oh, it's because he's behind the pumpkin. There we go. So I've got an issue here. I've got this white background. So what I need to do on the pumpkin layer is I need to use my magic eraser to actually get rid of this. There we go. Now I can move that cap back down. Now my video is about to expire, so I'm going to pause there and I'm going to pick up with this in the next video. So I'll see you in a bit.